The average person is said to spend 15 minutes in the bathroom. Why not take advantage of that time and learn something new? Presenting the 15-minute podcast on weird facts, crazy details, and funny particulars that you'll be able to enjoy while you're taking a on your free time. Welcome to The Shit with Sam Butler. Welcome to another episode of The Shit Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm very pleased to have my guest here today. I'm always pleased to have guests here. Let me just clarify that. But it's a very special occasion because this dude right here has been behind the scenes with a Late Night, which was the show that we used to do that was like a talk show. And he's been behind the scenes on all the live broadcasts that we've done with Leyendas Legendarias. And he's part of the team, but he refuses to be in front of the camera. Yeah. And somehow I was able to work my magic and get him on my podcast. So thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome my friend Hector Villalobos. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
We did an episode in Spanish, and we got to pop your cherry in the Spanish podcast world. And I know we get a lot of pictures, and people are like, "Who's that guy?" Because nobody knows who. Like it's like everybody that they see on
running away from the camera.
Yeah. But actually, you've done a lot of. I mean, when I first started working with a Late Night, I was impressed with all the staff that it took to make the show happen. And you were that guy with the cameras. You're behind the cameras. You're behind the scene every single event. So it's my pleasure to have you down in front of the camera. And I think I was able to kind of talk you into it because you're a huge comic book fan. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, burped a little, but I'm not a big comic book fan. I think that I'm a bandwagon fan. I mean, I jumped on the comic book bandwagon when it started becoming popular in the movies. Now,
to be cool.
Yeah, it wasn't. I never was a kid that had the Batman shirt or anything, but I know you're wearing it. I was like, yeah.
I feel personally attacked.
But that wasn't me. But I grew up in the '90s, so the Michael Keaton Batman came out with Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Tim Burton movie.
It was a Tim Burton movie, so it was very cartoonish, and it was very like surreal, but it had this Tim Burton feel to it, right? And it was a huge hit. The biggest hit was like the Batmobile. We were like, "Whoa, what's up with the Batmobile?" Right? It looked like a giant Corvette, you know. But in the '90s, it got popular to be a comic book geek
because of Batman.
Because of Batman, and I think that kind of started. And now you look at Disney's involved with Marvel. They own Marvel. They just did the Star Wars land at Disneyland. I mean, they're buying up all these movies.
Yeah, but it took a while to get a successful movie about superheroes.
Guardians of the Galaxy. They changed the Hotel Tower of Terror that they had at Disneyland. They changed it to Guardians of the Galaxy. So now it's not the Tower of Terror. Now what they did is they had the idea of changing the hotel, right, to that, and then they made that and put it in the movie. So they were like 2 steps ahead by putting it in the movie before they turned it into the
attraction.
Attraction. So they're pretty smart on how they're doing these things. There's a lot of money on the table here, and now it's a big deal. And a lot of people who weren't involved in the comic book world now look at it and go, there's money there. And I'm involved in comedy and podcasts, so it's part of popular culture, and it's something I don't know a lot about. So I thought, let's do an episode talking. We just talked about Batman in Spanish on the Spanish episode. So I said, let's follow it up with part 2 about the Joker, his arch nemesis, right?
Yes.
And I got some interesting facts about the Joker, but I wanted to talk about it. Like, you know stuff that I don't have to look up. So what's the deal? Why is the Joker such a successful villain? I mean,
I think it's because the cruelty of what he does, and that he's crazy, and it's completely opposite to Batman. That the Batman plans, and the Joker says, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, and let's see what happens." And that way he catch Batman off guard.
Okay. So what I think the genius of the Joker character is that when I was looking up the information, the Joker was, and of course we saw the movie that came. A lot of us saw the movie that came out recently, the newest Joker movie
with Joaquin Phoenix.
With Joaquin Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I have a theory about that movie. I don't know, but I think I watched this movie, and I think that everything that happens in that movie is happening in his head.
Okay.
I don't think it's real. I think I think this because at the beginning of the movie, he's talking to his caseworker or whatever that lady is, social worker, right?
Yeah.
And then he imagines all this stuff that happens. And he's narcissistic, so he makes himself important or part of every story. Like, when was the last time you saw an open micer get invited to Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, or The Tonight Show? But he injects himself into the story, and then it cuts back to him being in front of the same social worker, and now it's at Arkham Asylum, and he's wearing his regular clothes, his prison uniform, and she's wearing her regular uniform. And so all of this stuff, I'm thinking, happened in his head.
Yeah, that I'm the protagonist. I caused all of this.
Yeah, I did all this, and so that narcissism that is. So I'm thinking this. I'm watching this movie and I'm going like, this doesn't make any sense. And he's the hero in the story always, you know. And I start thinking, well, that's how we think of ourselves. And he's thinking he's a victim, and you know, he's Bruce Wayne's brother.
Everything is against me. And
he's against me. And so that's what I think. That's my theory on it. I might be completely wrong. But when I watched the movie, I was just like, this. He just happens to be in the middle of every aspect, self-blaming, victim, and I think this is what happens in a crazy person's head. Yeah, to get them to go do what they need to do, you know.
Well, one of his origins is that he says all it takes for one good person to turn bad is one bad day, and that's what happens to him. He had out one bad day and he turns into a Joker. He tries to prove this by turning the Commissioner Gordon into a villain by making him have a bad day. He shoots his daughter and rapes her and shows the pictures of the rape to him, and then he calls Batman and say, look what I did to him and look what he's going to become, because you do all this, you think that people are good, but no, everybody's bad. Everybody's bad. Only takes one bad day to turn them bad. And he tries to prove that, but at the end he didn't prove it. No, Gordon didn't turn.
You had me in suspense, buddy. Like, well, did he do it? You know, because I get it. I mean, I do think that there's obviously there's some thought going into these comics, and these guys are thinking. They're always thinking of how, and there's a human factor, and I think that's the attraction to the comic, is that we all can identify with the Joker in some respect, you know.
Yeah, and with these characters, they don't have superpowers. They're humans, and they do things that humans do.
Now, one of the things that I found, isn't there a fact or a fun fact, maybe you know, but didn't he turn Robin into like a Joker-like character in one of the comics? Oh. So that's what I had read. Also,
he kills one.
He kills one of the Robins, right?
He killed one. Actually, the people decided to kill him.
That's one of the facts. That's one of the facts that they left it out in the open.
Yeah, like, in Death of the Family.
Yeah, should we let him live or should we? And this was in a comic book.
Yeah, Death of the Family, and they had a phone number, and you can call them both. We saved Jason Todd, or we killed it, and people vote to kill him, and
and he's out. And there was 3 different Robins.
Yeah, well, I think there are more. As the first one, Dick Grayson, then Jason Todd, and Tim. I don't remember the last name. Tim Drake.
So these
and Damian Wayne. That's.
But these are not these are not guys that play in movies. These are guys in the comic.
Yeah, this in comics in the series there are some of these Robins. Then in Titans. There is Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, I think.
Okay, so they kill off one of the.
Yeah, they kill one.
They kill one,
Yeah,
No.
Tim Drake is the one who became Joker for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's...
That was on the animated series.
Oh, it was the animated series. It wasn't the comic. See, that's what I think so hard about this comic book world is that you have the animated series, you have the comics,
The movies.
you have the movies, and you have
the
the
live
movie-
action series.
Yeah, and then you have movies from one studio and movies from a different studio. Matter of fact, the first Batman movie, this was something I forgot to say in the other episode, but was directed by Andy Warhol.
What? Really?
Yeah, but he didn't have a licensing to do the movie, so there's like one copy of that movie around. Yeah, the artist, the architect, I guess he's an artist, right? Architect Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol.
Yeah,
it was,
visual.
Batman Dracula.
Batman Dracula.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is that, and then there's comics that they mix them with animals, right? There's a Batman Wolverine.
Yeah.
And the Joker, this is one of the deals
the amalgam universe that they mix DC Comics with Marvel Comics, and they mix Batman with Wolverine, Superboy with Spider-Man, and
yeah, I was looking for the one that because they do have the I found the Joker. The Joker was, they call him the Clown Prince, right? But who they mix him with? The Joker. Shoot, I had
Green Goblin.
Oh yeah, Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like there's this the whole universe of different things that's so hard to keep up with. You know?
Yeah. Also sometimes the stories overlap. For example, Harley Quinn is from the animated series. She wasn't in the comics, but the character then started appearing in the comics.
No, sorry, it was Joker and Sabretooth.
Sabretooth.
Hyena.
Yeah, Hyena. That's what I'm saying. Hyena against Batman Wolverine. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. There was a Batman Wolverine.
Yeah.
And Joker Hyena.
Joker Hyena.
So they're like, we're gonna make
Dark Claw.
The series.
Dark Claw is Batman with Wolverine. Yeah, I didn't read those. I think.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. How do you keep up with all this stuff? You know, it's like it, and it's. I guess I understand it because it's like, how do we make more money? You know, what if we do like Transformers this time around? You know,
there is Marvel people and DC people. What do I need to do to get money from the Marvel people?
they collaborate on different things too, right?
Yeah, sometimes also their universe overlap, and they. For example, there is a Thundercats Superman story, and
really,
yes.
That's insane. See that now? I would like that because I was a Thundercats fan when I was a kid. Not so much as an adult. I think I watched some on YouTube, and I was like, how did I like this crap when I was a kid? You know, but we loved it as kids. That was amazing. You know, I watched He-Man too as an adult, and I was like, this is so corny. You know?
Also,
and don't get mad at me if you're a He-Man or a Thundercats fan. It's just there's some, you got to grow up somewhere, and I'm still very childish with certain things, but not He-Man or
No.
Yeah.
You don't buy the toys and collect them. Yeah,
I wasn't a collector, no.
No, you didn't have it as a kid and you get it as an adult?
I grew up, my dad was a very strict man, and he had us always working. So we didn't, as kids, our toys were like hammers and our little toolbox, and we would go to work with our dad. That like on the day off, it was like, we're going to the dump, we're gonna throw some trash, we're gonna, and it was kind of, I did have toys. It wasn't totally like that. But we were more like, we'd play football or kick the ball in the backyard, but my thing was, I always wanted to know how everything worked. Because I was a little curious little kid, so if I got a toy, I'd take it apart. And that was the enjoyment of that toy, was understanding how that toy works,
Breaking it.
And then I would get in trouble because like, ay, and my mom would be like, ay, pero tiene las manos de fierro, mira, quebrando todo. No sé ni para qué te compro cosas. But I had that curiosity. Mm-hmm. So I was more about, and I liked I was like more of the kind of kid that if you gave me a BB gun, I would have been happy. You know, a slingshot, a rubber
Shooting
band
toys.
gun. I like that kind of stuff. Throwing knives. That's the kind of stuff I like.
Well, now you buy guns, so
I have guns. My mom's all, ay, tus pistolas. But it's different because I really don't play with my gun anymore, you know? I'm not really like, yeah, I have guns and they, but I look at guns now. As a kid, I would want to play with them. As an adult, I look at them and I go, that's a tool, you know, and it has a purpose. So it's kind of like, I know I have that reputation for being a gun nut, but in actuality, it's just like another tool.
yeah.
It's just a tool that if you need to use it, you better have it.
If you need it, you
better have it. You know, if you don't need it, then you don't use it. You know, but I do have my guns. But man, we're blowing through this episode. I haven't even talked about the Joker.
Well, he uses guns, so
He uses guns. Yeah, the Joker. He's considered the clown prince. There's a lot of Joker characters. I think, which was your favorite one out of the movies, would you say?
out of the movies, I'm going with Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Heath Ledger, there's a lot of rumors about him being a method actor, and he even got to where he would do his own makeup. And
Yeah.
I think he kind of lost it after that movie, you know?
Yeah, but in general, I think the Joker I like the most is Mark Hamill as the Joker, the
Okay.
voice. I don't know if you hear him. He wrote the tweets from Donald Trump as the Joker.
Oh, okay. They're scary, huh?
Yeah, sounds scary and sounds like very Jokerish.
That's great. It's the greatest. Yeah. Joker's girlfriend, you mentioned her, Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn,
She wasn't going to be in the comics, but
No.
she did really good in the series.
The animated series, and they turned
Boom,
into
she jumped
comics,
back
and
in.
now she have series and movies, and
I'll watch it. You know.
with Margot Robbie.
Yeah, yeah, they did a good job of casting that one. I was gonna say thumbs up on that one, but what about the Jared Leto character? Did you like that guy?
Oh no, I didn't like the
Yeah,
Joker at all.
I think like I was reading some of the weird facts about that I found about that is that he also tried to be a method actor.
No, he
and
overdid it.
he shaved his eyebrows and he was sending weird things to the
Yeah,
cast.
the
He sent
dead animals and
dead animals. He sent a dead rat to
Dead
Margot
rat.
Robbie, and he sent like dead pigs to other animals,
Oh.
to dead pigs to other cast members. And I said, God, that's so Heath Ledger of you. You know, like like it's been done, buddy. Like it was done already. You know, but the Joker made a cameo in Scooby-Doo at one time.
What?
Yeah.
there is a movie with Scooby-Doo and Batman. There's also a movie with Scooby-Doo and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's awesome. Yeah, he saw the new Scooby-Doo movies episode, Cape Crusader Caper. The Joker teams up with the Penguin to kidnap Professor Flakely to get his hands on the newly invented flying suit. So that's pretty cool. See, in the 1994 Batman episode, the Joker felt... Oh, so apparently Harley Quinn beats Batman at one point in time.
I don't know about it.
She beats him up. Yeah.
Yeah, like.
And the Joker feels emasculated because he failed.
Oh yeah. She defeats Batman, and she gets mad and
And beats her up.
beats her up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
And in the last series that came out about Harley Quinn, she dumps the Joker because he realized that the Joker is in love with Batman, not with her.
Well, that's actually one of the facts that I found, but not necessarily that way. They were saying that the Joker was actually a woman and was a lesbian.
Well,
Yeah. In Batman Thrill Killer, the Joker was a female criminal who was a lesbian in a relationship with Harley Quinn.
There is a version of the Joker that the Joker is Batman's mom, and Batman is Bruce Wayne's dad, because when they got mocked, they killed Bruce Wayne, and the parents turned into a Joker and to Batman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that?
Flashpoint thing?
Yeah, Flashpoint.
It's the Flash runs very fast and changes the universe.
Oh,
As soon as does.
I think you should have been on this episode with us, buddy. You know a lot of stuff too. The Joker murdered Boy Wonder, which is Robin, right? Robin Williams was supposed to play the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman movie. I think that would have been a good Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's crazier than, he was crazier than Jack Nicholson, I think.
Yeah.
And the improv he does is...
Yeah, it was ridiculous. That would have been awesome. I mean, Jack Nicholson, you can't get better than that, but still, it's like, I would like to have seen Robin Williams as a Joker. Although, they would have been like, the Joker character's cursed, they all die after. You know, it's like... you play the Joker, you suicide yourself.
Yeah, like
you know?
the Superman's
the Superman curse, you know? That we should do an episode on the Superman curse. But he also did, you are familiar with Judge Dredd?
Just the first movie.
Okay.
The one with Sylvester Stallone?
Well, yeah. Schwarzenegger. And Stallone, no?
No.
Yeah, it was Stallone.
I think it's Stallone.
Stallone, yeah. Well, apparently Judge Dredd's a comic too. Because after falling through the rip in the fabric of space and time, the Joker found himself in cahoots with Judge Dredd's nemesis, Judge Death. Together, they wreaked havoc all over the mega city 1. So, they're crossing over everywhere. And why not, right?
Yeah, it's one of the most popular characters there. Put it everywhere. Movie.
Yeah. So, Mark Hamill did the Batman voice, the Joker in Batman for 20 years.
Yeah. From the
In the animated
series.
Animated series, yeah.
And the video
Yeah.
games.
With Kevin Conroy.
So apparently, and you know, this is something that I thought was pretty crazy, and we're going to wrap it up with this, and we got to do another episode of comics, dude, because it's great, and I'm learning a lot. Hopefully you guys are too. But the Joker apparently knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but he chooses not to.
He's not interested.
See, he ignores it.
He goes, yeah, I know it's Bruce Wayne.
I know it's Bruce Wayne,
It's
but-
Bruce Wayne. Which to me was one of the biggest flaws in most of the comic. Like, I really had a problem with comics where, like, Clark Kent puts his glasses on and then nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
And I know that that's the imagination part of it, but I always was like, I know that's Clark Kent, you know? It's like, same thing with Batman. He's got obviously a lot of money. You can kind of tell it's him, you know? He happens to disappear when things go wrong, you know? It's like, there's clues, right? Hannah Montana, I mean, she's got a different wig. Sorry, I had two girls. I had to. I was like, so she puts the wig on and she's Hannah Montana. I was like, this is dumb. My daughter's like, yeah, so is Superman. I said, yeah, you're right. But that'll wrap us up for this episode of the Shit Podcast. We're talking about the Joker. Pleasure having you on the show, dude. Thanks for trusting me to do this with you, and hopefully you'll do it again.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you I know English is your second language, so I appreciate you giving it a shot, and appreciate all the listeners and watchers out there of the podcast that are. I get a lot of messages about how much it helps them with their Spanish and their English, so I appreciate you guys tuning in as well. Thanks once again. How can people find you on social media?
Well, I'm in Instagram as Hector Villalobos.
Hector Villalobos. There'll be a little thing on the screen that'll give them your And I'm Tu Amigo Sam. You can find me on social media as well. And if you want to listen to the podcast on Spotify or any of the platforms for the podcast, it's Sta Cagado Podcast, STACAGADO podcast on platforms. But it's the Shit Podcast. This is the English version of Sta Cagado. Thank you guys once again. You guys have a good week, and we'll see you all next week. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.